Hi, so my name is Clive Newton, and I'm a lecturer in TESOL and Applied Linguistics. Those are master's programs in the Department of English. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my career story and how I came to be in this position. I left school when I was 17, 18, in about 1977 or so, and I didn't go to university straight away. In fact, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Um, and so in the end, I got a job in an insurance company, which I hated. Eventually, I was able to move out of that via doing some voluntary work for a charity that deals with educationally disadvantaged teenagers. Uh, I liked that. And so in about 1980, I went to teacher training college to do a degree in community and youth work. After that, I got a job in the related field and I worked with educationally disadvantaged uh, young people for about 2 years. But I started to get itchy feet and I found out that one or two of my friends had done a course called the CELTA. Now, the CELTA is a 4-week teacher training course, at the end of which you are qualified at a basic level to be able to go and teach English as a foreign language. The CELTA course is not the only such course. There are many such courses nowadays online which you can find, 2-week online um, courses in how to teach English as a foreign language. Um, uh, and they may be of some help, but I'm a little bit skeptical of them. The CELTA course is a powerful course, an intense course, and a very valuable course. The CELTA course has one other parallel competitor course called the Trinity Certificate in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, and that is equally a good course too. Doesn't have quite as wide currency or acceptance as the CELTA course, but it's still very professional and it equips you with the skills you need to start doing an initial teaching job. But anyway, I did the CELTA course and I did that at an organisation in London called International House, who are very famous for doing this course. And I absolutely loved it. It was 4 weeks, and probably I would say that I learnt maybe more in that 4 weeks about teaching and education than I learnt in the 3-year degree that I'd done previously at the teacher training college. So I did the course, and the course equips you with all kinds of skills, such that at the end you come out being able to teach at a basic level. Actually, that's the starting point of your learning journey as a teacher. And the more you teach, the more you learn about how to teach English as a foreign language. You can find details of various CELTA courses run by various organisations on various websites, but certainly it's run in Liverpool at an organisation called LILA, which stands for Liverpool International Language Academy, and that's based in the city centre, and they're always looking for candidates, and we have a reasonably good relationship with them. But anyway, you can ask me anytime you want to about my specific experience on the CELTA course. So after that, that was 1985 by that time, and straight after the CELTA course, I went away to Spain and I got my first job working in a small private language school in La Coruña in Spain, which I loved. Stayed there for 1 year, but I really wanted to work for International House, which was the organisation with whom I had done the CELTA. And International House do have a range of private language schools throughout Spain, though I think in more recent times their presence has reduced somewhat. But anyway, I found a job with them eventually in Pamplona, in north of Spain, which is where Hemingway is famous for being around and getting drunk, and where he wrote Fiesta, The Sun Also Rises. But anyway, I stayed in Pamplona for 2 years actually, which I really enjoyed and gradually developed my teaching experience. And at that point, I decided I wanted to get more fully qualified in teaching English as a foreign language. So I applied to do the next step certificate, which is called the Delta, or the Diploma in Teaching English, in English language teaching. And I managed to find a position in Lisbon, Portugal, where I was able to be a teacher with them and also do the Delta course part-time alongside my teaching. So I spent 1 year then in Lisbon, which I thoroughly enjoyed as well. Wonderful city, Lisbon, fantastic place, and I learned an awful lot on the Delta course. The Delta course, you can do it actually part-time, as I did it across the year, or you could do it full-time over 8 weeks. And actually nowadays, I think either the CELTA or the Delta or both you can do online if you want to, but there will have to be some kind of practical teaching component. Indeed, I should say that in both the CELTA and the Delta courses, you have to do observed teaching practice, which can be quite challenging and quite pressured, but in the end, it's all part of the fun. So anyway, I did that. I did the Delta over the year. And then I decided by then that I wanted this to be my career. So at the end of having done the Delta, I was applying at the same time for doing a master's degree in applied linguistics and English language teaching. And eventually I got accepted to the University of Lancaster when I did my master's degree in about 1989-90. I did that for a year, which was okay. I thought it could have been better, frankly. I didn't think the teaching delivery was that brilliant, but yeah, I got the qualification, which was the main thing. And after that, I started looking around, and eventually I got a job with the British Council, managed by the British Council in China, People's Republic of China at the time. This was then in about 1991. And at the time, the British state aid arm of the government was funding teacher training programs in China, which were managed by the British Council. And so I got a job in one of these teacher training programs in China, managed by the British Council. So I became a teacher trainer, training Chinese teachers to be of English to teach English in their own country in China in the future. Okay. Actually, some of the students that I worked with were already teachers as well. So for them, it was a kind of in-service teacher training. But I was in China for 7 years. I did 1 year in Wuhan, then 2 years in Beijing, and then 1 year in Tangshan, and then 1 year in Lanzhou on the edge of the Gobi Desert. And then I went back for 1 year in Wuhan. At the end of that, I started to think, well, careers-wise, I'm not sure where working in China will lead me. So I decided to come home. And when I came home, that's always a bit of a risk, a bit of a step. I actually went back home to live with my parents and worked in sessional work or part-time work around a range of different universities and colleges, teaching English as a foreign language around the Midlands. So University of Wolverhampton, University of Birmingham, Solihull Further Education College, and one or two other places as well. And I did that while I was looking for more permanent work in the UK. I should say that it's actually really tough to get permanent work in the UK when you're coming back from nowhere. So you have to start generating your own networks again. But eventually, through various applications, I got a job in Cambridge, around Cambridge, with an organisation called Bell Language Schools. It's now called Bell International. And actually, they were a parallel competitor at the time of International House, also another reputable organisation. And I worked for Bell for about 3 years, mainly as a teacher trainer, now actually training on the CELTA and the Delta, which are the two courses that I had previously myself trained in. So I stayed there for 3 years, but then decided that the private language school sector was not very rewarding from a financial point of view, and I started looking for ways out. And in the end, in 2001 thereabouts, I got a job at the University of Liverpool, and I've been here ever since. First of all, working in the University of Liverpool's English Language Centre. I became the director of the English Language Centre in about 2012. I did that for 4 years or so, and then in 2016 or so, I think I managed to move over to the Department of English, which is where I work now, running modules on TESOL, particularly on things like digital technologies in language teaching, language testing, teaching English to young learners, methods in English language teaching, and other things as well. I should say that I don't have a PhD, therefore I've been pretty lucky to be able to wangle myself a position, as I did in 2016, back from the English Language Centre into the main English department. If you want to get into university education in the future, then it's almost a certainty that you need to have a PhD to do so. So I think if I were trying to get into the Department of English now, I wouldn't be able to if I didn't have a PhD. A pity, I think, sometimes, but that's the way the career progression works. Anyway, that's me in a nutshell. Ask me any questions you want to at any time. Okay.